This essay example, as well as thousands of others, is available in text format on our website for free and without registration. Simply Google Ivy Panda Free Essays.
Introduction. Beauty begets beauty. Have you ever heard that before? Most often, it refers to a beautiful woman ending up with a good-looking, handsome guy. But does that really apply in real life? Dubner wrote the article "Why Do Beautiful Women Sometimes Marry Unattractive Men?" in order to discuss research by Satoshi Kanazawa, wherein he indicated that women have a propensity to choose unattractive men only because of the law of supply and demand. This means that there are simply more attractive women than men. In reality, there are more valid reasons for such a pairing. In my opinion, there is actually a complementary scenario going on these days that fuels such mismatched marriages. If we go by the reasoning that Dubner quoted from Kanazawa, it will be difficult to understand why these mismatched love pairs often end up married. Why women do not give weight to physical attraction. According to von Pfetten, women tend to have passed through an ugly duckling stage during their childhood and adult years, causing those whom they considered attractive men to reject them. According to von Pfetten, such rejection is often carried by women all their lives and therefore serves as one of the bases for the relationships they seek. By seeking out a complementary relationship with a less attractive or ugly male, women feel that they risk less rejection, and the ugly men, who in turn have been rejected by attractive women early on, seek more of complementing relationship with them. The ugly men give the attractive women a sense of completion in their relationship and vice versa. At some point during a relationship between a good-looking man and a woman, they will tire of the physicality of the attraction and then seek out a deeper meaning in their relationship. One that will actually help them complement each other. Through a complementary relationship, as between a beautiful woman and an ugly man, the shortcomings of each person are instead filled in by the other partner, resulting in a complementing style of relationship. Dubner stated that Kanazawa's research indicated that women also indicate the DNA and intellectual capabilities of men when considering a life partner. Although this accounts for the criteria of a woman in choosing her life partner, it does not fully explain why she would opt for an ugly man to marry. If we were to follow the analogy stated in Dubner's article, Kanazawa had basically whittled down the choice of a life partner to a simple scientific compatibility test. The better the DNA of an ugly man, the more likely a beautiful woman is to marry him. However, there is another, more realistic basis for attracting a person. These concepts rely on intellect, religion, proximity, complementary, and similarity concepts. Dubner's article indicates that by Kanazawa's concept, an ugly man will get a beautiful woman to marry him with no basis of physical attraction. For as long as a man knows how to treat a woman properly and works hard on making her feel special, he will win her heart and eventually marry her. What do women really consider when looking for a life partner? Beauty is a trait more valuable for women than men. According to Dubner, Kanazawa's indicated a 36% probability that good-looking parents would have a baby daughter as a child instead of a firstborn son. Therefore, women tend to value beauty more than men. Selection pressure means that if parents have a domineering trait that is best passed onto boys than girls, the tendency will be to have a boy first and vice versa. However, in the case of heritable traits, there are more positive results when daughters are first born. In this case scenario, there is evidence that the complementary aspect of a relationship tends to dictate the choice of a life partner for a woman. Heritable traits are, after all, considered to be a complementary aspect of a married couple's union and, therefore, would help the interpersonal relationship between the couple and their children. Ugly men make beautiful women feel special. According to Dubner, Sakagawa attributed the attraction of beautiful women to ugly men to the law of supply and demand. In reality, ugly men have a specific way of treating beautiful women that they do not get from handsome men. However, Maria argued that ugly men try harder to make women feel special while handsome men prefer to have women work on making them feel special. In effect, The imperfection of the male becomes a relationship attribute instead of a weakness. Therefore, such relationships have room for growth on both sides and a complete understanding of each other's faults and shortcomings. Therefore, there is truth to Dubner's belief in Sacagawa's statement that beauty is just one female trait. The complementary aspect of a relationship is more important than any physical or intellectual shortcomings in a relationship. By marrying a man who complements her strengths and weaknesses, a woman assures herself of having a well-balanced series of traits in her children. Conclusion. Therefore, one can surmise that the actual reason a woman chooses to marry an ugly man has everything to do with actually providing herself with a happy and content environment more than basking in the idea of having a good-looking relationship that is empty on the inside. We have to remember the basis of the article. The reason a woman will choose to marry an ugly man has everything to do with genetics and self-fulfillment aside from the law of supply and demand. If you want to find more works like this research paper on why beautiful women prefer unattractive men, head over to ivypanda.com. It has a collection of samples with thousands of submissions covering virtually all academic subjects.